and I was at the barbershop getting ready to go. And this young man came into the barbershop, forgive the shameless plug, Superfly Barbershop, right there at 140 64 Euclid, right across the street from East Cleveland Library. Man, oh man, if you're talking about some good service, you just come on in there, man. Come on in there like he did. He said, man, I could have went to, I got cards in my pocket with shop, but I came here. And he was so satisfied, and we got a chance to talk. And once he came in and talked, I found out that this was a divine meeting of me and this young man. Because we just struck up a conversation as he sat in the chair. And he began to talk to me about that he was a father. Take it from there, Brother Alex. Talk right in that microphone.
All right.
Speak right in that microphone, brother.
Okay.
Continue our conversation from the barbershop.
Well, I just want to let you know that I'm happy to be here on today. It's actually my oldest son's birthday as well. So he'll be 9. So happy birthday, Amari. And I want to thank my dad for bringing me as well. Yeah, so that was a good father-son moment. Right on time, of course. But yeah, we did meet in the barbershop. We had a great conversation. It felt divine, almost as it's scripted, but you know, two people speaking from the heart. It could come off that way a little bit. But yeah, we were just discussing how it is to be a father. And I'm also a husband of 5 years to my wife, Ashley, as well. So, you know, just trying to be a complete package of a man as far as it is taking care of my children and, you know, catering to my wife and empowering her. And, you know, she provides me with the support I need. Of course, I'm not a single father, you know. We do it as a team. But, yeah, I'm just grateful for the honor to be a dad. You know, it's an honor when you're having a child.
Yeah, speak right into that microphone.
Oh.
So you got the nice, deep, heavy voice. Yeah,
Okay.
Go ahead. Yes, sir.
You got me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. It's an honor, you know, to be a father. You know, everyone doesn't have the ability or the, you know, the blessing to conceive or bear children. So, you know, it's a really deep responsibility. The act that gets you to fatherhood sometimes becomes a little recreational. And, you know, I just think we need a little bit more guidance in the neighborhood so we can distill a little self-control and, you know, self-worth. So, you know, that's what I stand for. That's how I was raised. And, you know, I look to pass that on to my children.
Yes, yes. So how many children do you have?
I have 5 children. Amari, Ashton, Ava, Abigail, and Autumn.
Wow. And what makes you so passionate about raising your children? And you're a young man yourself. How old are you?
Well, I'm 28.
28. Go ahead, brother.
All right. Well, I was always raised to be responsible and to see things through as well. I know sometimes, you know, a lot of guys, mostly young, but usually every man, when he embarks on fatherhood, he may be a little, you know, nervous. And that's because he hasn't done it before, you know. So, but I invite guys to accept the challenge and accept not knowing something as the opportunity to gain knowledge of it. And that's what it is. I'm not using my children as guinea pigs or anything, but I try methods of you know, teaching them life, you know, and I have 5 children, and of course they're all different. So I have different ways of interacting with them, you know, using their strengths and helping them realizing that weaknesses aren't anything but strengths that you're working on, you know. So just using different methods with each of my children, and they're on the right track. They keep me on track. I always say they saved me. I'm always with them. I'm always there for them. And, you know, that's how I know I'm always where I need to be.
216-578-1490. we're talking to Alex Assad, right?
Afzal.
Afzal.
Yes.
Okay. What an interesting name. And we're talking to him. Listen, it's Father's Day, and I met one of the, a super young man that's a dad that's taking care of his wife and his children, and they're doing it. And through the struggles and all, man, this young man just came across so brilliantly as a family man, and we always talk about family man. I got one in the studio right now. And so you've been married 5 years?
Yes.
And so what's the relationship with you and your queen?
Well, we grew up in church together. Yeah, I guess we knew each other in church as children, and we grew up, interacting and communicating through the years. And I took her to my homecoming and my prom, so it's like that fairy tale. But I mean, of course, it wasn't all,
Yes, sir.
roses. But that's what makes it so beautiful now. We can look back and laugh, and just realize that, sticking together, coming closer in those moments when most time people break. That's what makes us strong now, and seemingly invincible at times. Like I couldn't imagine not being, with my wife. So I guess that's another thing about fatherhood, and on a more grand scale, parenthood, is having mutual ideas about having children. It needs to be agreed so we can have the full support system for that child. And I think that's another key of, parenthood. Fatherhood wouldn't be anything without motherhood, because there'll always be something missing, just as motherhood wouldn't be everything without fatherhood. So you need that contrast in the household.
Is there, I don't want to say peer pressure, but describe to me the feeling of getting married and what today what we consider a young age, and not only that, but being a father also. You know what I mean? How today people, the divorce rate, or people are in different relationships, whatever the case may be. Was there any peer pressure, or was you just like, I need to do it?
Right. I mean, in my circle, I'm the pressure. And not saying that I'm just a self-righteous person, but I'm not. I don't try to hide anything, because I'm not afraid. I haven't done anything that I should be ashamed for. I haven't done anything that won't be forgiven either. So it's no pressure. Of course, there's a little caution, and I do critical thinking as a young man, because I knew what I was embarking on. I had a friend that was married for a couple years before I got married, and he had asked me a question. He said, "Are you ready to lead your family?" And I thought about it, like, man, I'm not responsible for just me anymore, and I have to model myself accordingly. But in the general, I keep a positive circle around me, and they're very few, and they're all for me, making an honest woman out of a lady that they've been seeing for years anyway, and I go off of the Bible. It says it's better to marry than to burn, So I was going to be with her, We were going to do this, and it was good to get started. We wanted to be one of those couples married for 40 and 50 years, and you do that by getting started early. I have a lot of friends now. My best friend got married last year, so he's a year in, but I'm at 5. And I have other friends trying to get engaged. They always come and tell me, I just got the ring, and I'm like, all right, here we go. And now you get to see, everything that I was talking about when I got married, But, it's a beautiful thing, and we all know that God honors marriage, and that's the favor of God has been in my life, since I've been married. I felt it, But you never know what you're ready for until it's there, you know?
I got another question. Can you explain to me the difference between, I guess, living with your significant other and not being married? Because we tend to stay in relationships for 20 years and then we get married and then it's like a divorce.
They call it shacking up. You're trying to be nice about it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. The situation I'm in, which is a marriage, my wife or me, we can't just up and leave. It has to, we have to go to courts. They have to unravel us. You understand? When you're just living with someone, I feel like it's easier because I've seen it. You know, I know I have some situations that I know of that are going on now where people just up and leave. That's the difference. There's way more commitment. There's way more at stake. You know, that's why they make you combine yourselves like that. You know, a lot of people would get married if you didn't have to, you know, go through litigations for it. You know, so it's a way deeper commitment, and you can't just leave it. It's way more to unravel than, you know, just staying with a person. Well, what I like to base it off of, I always say this. I don't think, of course, you should love the person. You should like them as well, and you know, you got to deal on trust. But I think consideration is the single most important thing. And no one, I don't think people really understand how deep consideration goes because they're too busy thinking of themselves. But to fully consume yourself with the needs and concerns of one other person, you know, and if you have children with your significant other, you guys will tag team the children's needs, you know. But to take and single-handedly make yourself responsible for the needs of another person, you know, emotionally and physically, and you know, spiritually, you don't have to agree, I guess, but there has to be peace there. I think consideration is the number one thing, and I think that's the blueprint of any working, healthy relationship across the board, but it works for marriage as well. The best moments, the best time, the place that me and my wife are in now is a great place of consideration. A lot of inquiring on the other's feelings and their thought processes, and really trying to be able to relate. You know, and when you think of why things don't work in the world in general, it's because we can't relate. We like things that we're used to, but people are going through these cycles of relationships, and they don't know what it is, and it's usually them. So just, I think consideration is the cornerstone for the working marriage, and that's what we go off of. I guess I would want to just change the cycle. I mean, I think that's pretty simple. If we talking generation after generation, there's going to be something that stands out as a common denominator through the generations that may have held a part of, you know, our people back. And so I would just really hope that we would be able to point it out and discern what it was and just stop the cycle. You know, it's such a broad scale. I can't really jump in a whole pool of it right now. But, you know, I would just say focus on that one thing. It could be an addiction. It could be an abuse, some other kind of abuse. It could be, you know, anything. It could just be a repetitiveness to quit. You know, it could be a hard to face failure thing. But whatever it is, I would just hope that it get pointed out and, you know, stopped. Someone overcome it for the next generation.
The University of Common Sense. Boy, oh boy.
I would like to, you know, be presented with a platform of some sort, you know, whether it be some kind of program or a grant or anything, presented so we can really do some outreach and just try to help guide, you know, and be that support system, you know, for these young men and or any father or anyone with children that feel like they want to be in their lives or just get their life on track, you know, all together. So yeah, I would like to, you know, influence in that way as well.
All right, so you're a young man with 5 children. How do you keep from going crazy?
Well, my wife and I, we help manage edible arrangements, so we kind of swap schedule. But I mean, they're good children. You know, they're a product of a 2-family home, and you know, I think they could stand to be a little more outdoorish, if I can make up that word. I have to pry them out of the house, you know, so the atmosphere is good. They like to learn, and you know, it's an exciting thing to read books, and you know, just our learning time is a good thing to see them soak in, you know, this great father that they have, you know.
Yes, and what made you such a great father?
I mean, I wanna thank my dad, you know, Lavelle Hodges, and my mom also, Alexis, and she you know, she just kept me responsible, and I grew up an only child, so I guess I was just trained to be responsible, you know, and just look after, you know, my responsibilities, see things through, and you know, so I took fatherhood as a honor and a challenge I was ready for.
Man, oh man, go ahead, sir. You want to? I see you.
All right. I got a question. When you answered the previous caller, when he asked you the 2 questions, you said in the first answer that consideration is the key. Mm-hmm. Now, something went off. I just was deciphering what you said. You tell me if I'm reading too deep, because this is an issue. I guess you could say it's the issue I have that I feel I have.
Okay.
So, when you're saying consideration, I took it as you meant listening to when your significant other, when she has not issues, but when she's voicing her concerns and wants you to listen. Whether it makes sense or not, you have to listen, understand, put yourself in her shoes to see what she's saying. Is that?
Yeah, that's one aspect. Okay. But consideration, you can apply it to anything. You know, if you can apply it to cheating, you're being inconsiderate in that moment. You're not considering how they would feel. You're not considering any backlash from. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you can apply it to anything. I feel like even something simple. If they don't like when you leave dishes in the sink after they just washed them, and you just do it without thinking, that was inconsiderate. You know, it goes even that small. You know, so I just apply it to everything. Your children. You know, some people, we're really on top of that, our parents, and some people drag their feet with it. Our children have a very set schedule. You know, that's out of consideration, because now they're trained and they come looking for us at a timely manner. So consideration could really fix a lot of things.
We're going to sum this up. You got 2 minutes to give me your closing arguments on fatherhood, family, whatever you might want to talk about. Go right ahead. Talk right into millions of listeners.
Okay. All right. Well, I just want to thank you again, Art, for having me. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the platform that you presented. This is probably the best Father's Day I've had. But you know, I think the key, the solution to, you know, and what I like to do is, you know, see how I could propel my people forward. And I think the key is bringing back family, you know, and the father, which is the cornerstone of the family, it needs to be there. We know the woman is the real cornerstone, but you wouldn't know that if you're not there and know that you need her support, you know. So I think that's the key, and I really don't like to get too deep with it. I'm a young man. I'm married. I got married at 22. I don't think that's too young. You know, I mean, of course it's young on a grand scale, but I don't think it is. And, you know, I have children. I look after them. Simple as that.
Yes.
You know, and
yes,
that's how I live life. Simple, you know.
Yes. Who's on the phone line? Talk to me. All right. So I like that. Keep it simple, Sam. Go ahead, Sam.
Is Bill Cosby a good role model for dads? You as a dad, I want your perspective.
His role model attribute as a star is in question. inadvertently, because your hands haven't been completely clean yet. We don't know. So I mean, it's up in the air, and that goes for anyone. While you go through your things, it's always, we have to see things through time. Time is in charge. So whether it is what it is or it's not, he gonna need time for us to look over this. So I'm not. It's in question though. It's in question.